Welcome to Everything Life Coaching. I'm John Kim.
And I'm Noelle Cordeaux. We are the founders of Lumia.
And we're super passionate about all things coaching, and we want to share what we've learned from over a decade of coaching and training thousands of life coaches.
Let's dive into the science and magic of coaching.
On today's episode, the topic is common mistakes life coaches make when using positive psychology. And also how to get it right.
Yes. John, can we discuss your environment today?
Yes, I am sitting cross-legged inside a minivan. First time doing a podcast in a minivan. And it's great. It's luxurious. It's spacious. I have Wi-Fi. It's the way to do it. I'm always on the go. Yeah.
Where are you headed? I know you're doing something special today.
Yeah, I'm headed into the woods to run a writer's retreat. So yeah. This is a life, Noelle. This is be careful what you wish for.
I mean, that's such a great, and I'm super bummed I couldn't make it. I wanted to go out to your retreat. I had a friend coming in for the weekend, but everybody who's joining you is in for a treat. And I think it's a good segue into our topic today, because when we work with people, we're responsible for, bringing them whatever set of interventions that we have, whether it's understanding how to write a book, get published, or understanding positive psychology, as the Lumia program is heavily grounded in positive psychology. Let's play around a little bit. So what is your understanding of positive psychology? It's just kind of out there floating in the world.
It's mostly from you. And I, like many people, thought positive psychology was hokey. And I think I was judgmental because I come from the clinical world. I wondered if it had legs. But the experience of you, meaning you actually kind of practicing it, in your life, and then all the, the psychoeducation from Lumia and yourself has made me really believe like it's actually very powerful. And I think I judged it because it is simple, but simple sometimes is actually a good thing, not a bad thing.
Yeah, positive psychology is a complex science. And a great way to think about it is that the space of psychology as we know it, Freud, Jung, therapy, licensure, is all based on the science of what's wrong with you, disease, suffering. And positive psychology is newer. It really only started its empirical inception in the 90s with Martin Seligman out of Penn. But positive psychology is based on the science of what is right with you, what is going well, how do we help people to achieve flourishing, how do we help people to achieve in general, writ large. And because of that goal orientation, achievement focus, positive psychology is one of the cornerstones of coaching as we know it today.
And I think the misconception about positive psychology is it's not like a forced or fake positive, right? It's not like, oh, I'm just going to champion you and be a cheerleader, because, that can be very slippery. It really is focusing on what is right with you, what is going well, that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. And leaning into and learning how to manipulate your brain chemistry based on the outcomes of all of the different flavors of positive emotion, from contentment to pride to mystery to awe to love. All of those are the flavors of positivity. One of the things that I think is another misconception is that positive psychology is not about just making you happy, because that would be a really narcissistic approach, and nobody's happy all the time. That's the other one, is that a lot of people think positive psychology is kind of selfish because it's about just you being happy. Yeah, it's not. It looks at utilizing your strengths, your goals, your resources, and your very, natural intuitive positioning in the world to move you forward. And there is a lot of really amazing research that has come out over the last 20, 30 years in positive psychology. So the scientific basis itself has some real teeth. So what do coaches need to know about positive psychology? It's a science, just like any other discipline. And it has an incredible amount of data and tools that we can use to help clients navigate their lives. So one of the things that I think is important for coaches to understand is like, okay, so how do we use it, right? So thinking about positive psychology as a tool, the way that you lay down a tool or an intervention in session using positive psychology would be the same way as you use any other tool, in session. Have you ever used a balance wheel in session with a client, or are there any tools that you use regularly?
Is the balance wheel like an emotional spectrum thing? I think I've used one of those.
Balance wheel is it's a circle, and it has all the different parts of your life, like your family, your friends, your job, your relationships, and you ask your client to draw a line to say, how satisfied they are in each of those lives or parts of their lives.
No, I have not used that. I've done a lot of work in family systems where we kind of explore the family tree, where things come from, all of that. But no, I've not used the life wheel.
The wheel. Okay. So it's kind of similar to what you're talking about. If we were going to use an applied positive psychology intervention, it would be the same setup. It wouldn't be from the perspective of giving advice or saying, this is how you're going to live, or this is what you're going to do. But it would be, hey, I have this tool, data set, intervention, piece of science that I think would be really helpful for you. Would you like to hear about it? Would you like to learn it? And then the client has to say yes, no, to whether they'd like to do it. And it can be something that's really simple. So, for example, John, if you've been having a bad day recently or like any negative emotions, I have a fun fact that I'd like to share with you that comes from positive psychology. Would you like to hear it?
Yes. And can I just underline what Noelle is highlighting is permission, which a lot of coaches forget to ask for.
Yeah. So John said yes. And this is actually one of my favorite fun facts in positive psychology. It is impossible to experience a negative emotion and a positive emotion at the same time.
Right.
And so if you're noticing that your thoughts are skewing towards the negative and you want to change your emotional experience, you can get a set of positive thoughts, memories, even pictures of loved ones, and have them stored with you kind of as like this little cheat sheet set so that you can hit your brain with positive experiences and change your mental outlook. It's really effective.
Why do you think that generally we default to the negative, the whole negativity bias? Why are we always looking at what we don't have and what's wrong? I struggle with this instead of really valuing and seeing, the good.
I mean,
because we weren't born like that.
Yeah, two culprits, evolution and capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism for
right?
sure. Yeah, billboards
right?
and yeah.
Evolution is the reason we look to the negative is because our brain is always trying to protect us from stuff that'll kill us.
Yeah.
But in 2023, most of the things that really disturb us or bother us or disappoint us aren't actually going to kill us. But back in kind of like the caveman days, they probably would. Yeah. And so that's where our brains developed this tendency to go there. And then in modern life, capitalism is always trying to tell you what's wrong with you so that you buy something.
Right.
and that's one of the major culprits. 100%. All of this work around positive emotions and using them as strengths comes from a series of theories that have been published in the NIH, the National Institute of Health. One of my faves comes from Barbara Fredrickson, and it's called the Broaden-And-Build theory. And this is an example of the type of information that we can share with our clients. So I gave you the setup of, all right, well, we can't experience a positive emotion and a negative emotion at the same time. And we can swap out our set of positive emotions in order to manipulate our experience. But there's actually a really cool science behind why that's important and what the actual outcomes are, right? So when we're working with our clients, obviously they want to accomplish a goal, but the work of coaching really does impact your whole life. And not a lot of people think about enacting positive emotions as part of their everyday experience. But what we know from the science of positive psychology is that it gives you tremendous health outcomes. So let me look them up. So positive emotions help you see things from a broader perspective. It's called, it's the bird's eye view.
Right.
And they also help you to enhance your coordination, your communication skills, and they improve cardiovascular functioning of your heart just as much as exercise does.
Wow, really?
So,
just feeling positive. Interesting.
Yeah. So negative emotions cause cardiovascular distress, and positive emotions actually repair the tears.
Noelle, why am I doing burpees? I should just focus on feeling better and exuding positive emotions instead of breaking tremendous sweat every day.
I mean, I think
actually the workout produces positive feelings. So
I mean, it does. Yeah. And the positive emotions are going to increase your coordination and balance too.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that I think about, especially for an aging population, is that we know that experiencing joy, positivity, all of these feel-good hormones increases your coordination, increases your mobility, increases the capacity of your heart to function, and increases your cognitive capacity to generate new ideas. Yeah. And so when we're working with clients to do all of this stuff, it really bolsters their capacity to accomplish their goals. Okay. So another thing that we have to be aware of in terms of what not to do with positive psychology is this idea of toxic positivity.
Yeah,
have you heard that term?
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. This is why positive psychology gets a bad rap. It's that kind of fake, you can do it. You got this. I believe in you. And it's like, well, you don't even know me. I don't care. I believe in you. I'm supposed to say this. This is going to help you,
Yeah. Or even age old, well, not age old, but stemming from the World War II era, tropes and catchphrases like keep calm and carry on. And don't worry, be happy.
Yeah.
And I love the Beach Boys just as much as anybody else. But the reality of working with positive psychology is that it doesn't replace real problems in your life.
And it makes the client feel dismissed or unheard. It kind of minimizes what they're going through.
Yes, absolutely. And in coaching specifically, there's a reason why there's a whole technique set called clear and vent. That when clients have problems, when they have issues, when they experience pain, coaches need to be 100% prepared and very well trained in how to hold those feelings for their client and let somebody really unleash their anger, really unleash their despair and cycle through it, process it, get it all out. And then we can start to say, okay, well, what else is there? What else is there? And oftentimes in the space of what else is there, we can begin to find the kernels of positivity. Yeah. So like, if you're having a shit day and I were to say, well, what else is there? I might ask you about your toys, your motorcycles, and I might ask you about your kid, or I might ask you about the way that you savor a hot cup of coffee, or the sunsets or the sky, or your partner, and try to draw in lots of different experiences that will also allow you to anchor to bright spots in your life.
Yeah, I love this. I talk about focusing on what you already have that is not dependent on someone's yes or no. And I feel like I've focused most of my life on someone's yes or no, hugged my happiness on that, got the no, and then, was miserable because of that. So yeah, the practice of, I call it nectar, the practice of what else is there that you're not, paying attention to.
Yeah. And it has to do with looking up and out. And that's where we start to kind of, build in this resource set. Another theory that dovetails really beautifully with positive psychology is life design theory out of Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
And that concept rolls with the idea that at any given time, there are 5 to 7 paths available to you, and every single one of them is good. So what you were describing and like holding in your mind's eye this one thing that had to happen, and if it didn't happen, all is lost. If we draw on a combination of, well, what else is there, positive psychology, and then life design, we're actually able to flow into this space of multi-opportunities, which is pretty much the definition of resilience. How do you think that your life would change if at every moment you were able to self-actualize that whatever was in front of you was just one of 5 to 7 paths available and that they were all good?
Yeah, I mean, it's instantly empowering because you you feel like you have choices. I think what gets people into the trenches is feeling like they don't have choices, and now they're in a prison and they're stuck and there's no way out. So just knowing that there's 5 to 7 paths, there's hope in that already baked in.
Yeah, I totally agree. So let's just roll through. I have a list of goals here for positive psychology and coaching, and remember, we're using positive psychology as a supplement to whatever our client's goals are. We're using it as a tool to draw out from the client, well, what else is there, so that they're not getting stuck in their negative emotions after they have a chance to really process, clear, and vent. And what we do is that we want to help people increase their experience of positive emotions. So just, what we know from the Broaden-And-Build theory is that the more positive emotions you experience, the more of a positive outlook you're going to have in life. And then being able to identify and develop their strengths and talents, building a sense of hope and belief, introducing and nurturing the power of gratitude. This is something that you've been doing for a long time, John. How has gratitude practice changed your life?
Yeah, I mean, this is huge. This is a giant leg as far as the to hang your mental health on. I didn't practice gratitude much for most of my life, but I think in the last 10 years, really practicing it, not just kind of reading off a list, has made me just kind of, it's made me happier. It takes time though. It's not like you're going to practice gratitude over the weekend and by Monday you're going to be happy, but slowly training yourself, going back to, seeing what is good instead of naturally defaulting to what is bad and lacking.
That is the exact definition of how it works to induce positive emotions. It's like it is a practice. Gratitude is just one of them. And if you do it consistently over time, you're actually going to change your brain chemistry and be able to transition your thoughts from positive to negative. And then this bleeds into everything else. One of the outcomes of working with emotions in this way is helping the client build and maintain positive relationships and learning how to savor and build a relationship with positivity and contentment, which I don't think a lot of people think about in terms of how we actually have to build the relationship itself with the question, what else is there? What else is positive in my life? What else can I sink into right now? I think a lot of people are struggling right now, and this might be a very important time to reintroduce these practices to society.
Yeah, I think it's timely. And I think the thing to really remind people is that it is a practice. Like it has to be part of your daily ritual. It can't be something that you just do when you feel down, although that may help. I think, but really kind of like fitness or like any kind of practice that builds on itself. That's how this thing works.
It is, exactly. And speaking upon, building positive emotions, stacking them up, I have so enjoyed talking to you today in the back of a minivan.
Yes. Even, but here it's the thing, environment is a factor. And so put yourself in environments that produce positive emotions.
Yeah. And relationships, one of the hallmarks of our relationship has always been humor and joy.
Yeah.
And I think without it, we wouldn't be as long-term and functional as we are because we can laugh together.
Humor is so important in life, for sure.
That it is.
Thank you for the conversation. And also, if you're interested in coaching, hopefully this makes it less intimidating, something like positive psychology. Yeah.
Yes. It's one of my favorite parts of our curriculum. I'm always excited to welcome new students into the fold and introduce them to this stuff. So come see us at Lumia. And John, I hope you have an awesome time at your retreat, and I will catch up with you next week.
Thank you. Be well. Thanks for listening to Everything Life Coaching. If you're feeling the draw to become a coach, head to lumiacoaching.com/everything. Explore a new career that brings fulfillment, gives you a true sense of purpose, and a bold community to do it with.
Lumia is ready to equip you with the tools, training, and community you will need to reach your goals. If you're ready to build a unique coaching business on your own terms while making an impact on the world at large, Lumia is the next bold step in your coaching journey. That's lumiacoaching.com/everything.
And hey, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it.